We've all met someone who says one thing but does another. One day, they act interested, kind, and affectionate. The next day, they seem distant, cold, or completely detached. This frustrating behavior is what we call mixed signals. But here's the truth. Mixed signals are not just about confusion. They reveal deep psychological patterns. Why do people behave this way? Is it manipulation, fear, or simply human inconsistency? In this episode of Mind Decoder, we will break down the science of mixed signals, the hidden reasons behind them, and how you can protect yourself from emotional games. By the end of this journey, you will no longer be left wondering, what did they really mean? Instead, you'll have the tools to see through the fog of uncertainty. Let's decode the mystery of mixed signals, starting with why they exist in the first place. At its core, mixed signals often come from internal conflict. A person may feel one thing, but express another, because their emotions are not fully aligned with their actions. For example, someone may be attracted to you, but also fear commitment. They might text you constantly one week, then suddenly disappear the next. Their heart says yes, but their mind says no. This push and pull creates confusion not only for them, but also for you. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance, the discomfort of holding two conflicting desires. When people can't resolve this conflict, they unconsciously project it onto others. Understanding this helps. You see that mixed signals are not always intentional cruelty. Sometimes, they are simply the reflection of a person at war with themselves. Another powerful reason for mixed signals lies in fear of vulnerability. Opening up to another person makes us emotionally exposed. And for some people, this feels dangerous. They may genuinely like you, but worry about rejection, abandonment, or loss of control. So they send signals in waves: warm when they feel safe, cold when they feel scared. This emotional back and forth is their shield. They keep you close enough to feel wanted, but far enough to avoid pain. It's not always about you. Often, it's about their unhealed wounds from the past. If you've ever felt someone draw near only to pull away, you were witnessing their inner fear of being hurt again. Sometimes, mixed signals are not about fear at all, but about power dynamics. Certain people intentionally create confusion as a way of controlling others. This behavior often appears in toxic relationships or manipulative friendships. By keeping their feelings unclear, they keep you guessing, hoping, and chasing. It's a psychological strategy called intermittent reinforcement, the same principle that makes gambling addictive. You never know when you'll get affection or attention, so you stay hooked, waiting for the reward. If you ever felt like you were stuck in an emotional roller coaster, it's because someone used mixed signals to keep you invested in uncertainty. Recognizing this is the first step to breaking free from emotional manipulation. Body language also plays a huge role in sending mixed messages. Someone may say they're fine, but their crossed arms, nervous glances, or lack of eye contact reveal something else. Humans are experts at masking words, but the subconscious often leaks through gestures and tone. A person might say, "I'm happy for you," while clenching their jaw or avoiding your eyes. This clash between words and body language creates confusion. Studies in psychology show that when verbal and nonverbal signals contradict each other, we tend to believe the body more than the voice. Learning to observe these hidden cues helps you decode what someone truly feels, even when they won't admit it out loud. Cultural and social expectations can also cause mixed signals. Some people are raised to always be polite, even when they're not interested. Others are taught to hide negative feelings to avoid conflict. As a result, they might smile while secretly feeling annoyed, or agree to plans they don't intend to keep. These habits create situations where their behavior doesn't match their real intentions. It's not manipulation, it's conditioning. They were trained to prioritize harmony over honesty. In these cases, the mixed signals are less about So, how can you decode mixed signals without losing your mind? The first step is to look at patterns, not moments. Anyone can have a bad day, act distant, or send a confusing text. But if someone repeatedly swings between hot and cold, it's a sign of deeper inconsistency. Patterns reveal the truth. Are they reliable over time, or do they constantly shift? Do their actions align with their words, or do they frequently contradict themselves? By focusing on consistency, you separate temporary mood swings from long-term behavior. The brain loves clarity, and once you see the bigger picture, the confusion begins to fade. Another way to deal with mixed signals is through direct communication. Instead of guessing, ask, "I've noticed some mixed signals. Can you clarify what you mean?" Many people avoid this conversation out of fear. But clarity comes only when you invite honesty. Some will respond openly, revealing their inner conflict. Others will dodge the question, confirming that they prefer to keep you in the dark. Either way, their response gives you more information than silence ever will. Mixed signals thrive in ambiguity, but once confronted, the truth often becomes impossible to hide. But here is the most important insight. Mixed signals are also signals. They are not meaningless noise. They reveal hesitation, fear, manipulation, or dishonesty. When someone confuses you repeatedly, that confusion itself is the message. It tells you that this person may not be ready, willing, or capable of giving you the clarity you deserve. Instead of endlessly decoding their behavior, shift the question. Not do they like me, but are they consistent enough for me? This reframing puts the power back in your hands. You are no longer chasing an answer. You are choosing how much uncertainty you are willing to accept. In the end, mixed signals teach us as much about ourselves as they do about others. Why do we tolerate confusion? Why do we chase clarity from people who cannot provide it? The brain craves resolution, but sometimes the healthiest response is to step back. When someone truly values you, their signals will be clear, consistent, and aligned. No decoding required. Psychology shows us that mixed signals often come from fear, conflict, or manipulation, but your response determines whether you get trapped in the fog or rise above it. Remember this: clear communication is a sign of emotional maturity. If you constantly feel lost in someone's signals, the problem is not your inability to understand, it's their inability to be direct. And once you see that truth, the confusion loses its power.